folks, welcome to episode number 11 of the Rhubarb Travelers podcast. We are recording this show on Wednesday, January 28, 2026. I am Blake, and with me, as always, is Damon. How are you doing, my friend?
Still a lot of ice out there.
Let's say, did you survive the Snowmageddon?
It was ice. The thing is like, I didn't realize how much I rely on Amazon for stuff. Can't get anything.
And we're expecting another one. So, folks, we live in North Carolina, and snow events are becoming more and more rare in North Carolina. And so we just had one this past weekend, and gosh, oddly enough, we're expecting another one this coming weekend.
Again, there's a big difference, though, between ice and snow. What we had last time was ice. And like I said, my front walkway is still like 3/4 of an inch of ice and doesn't get sun there. And again, it's tough. So yeah, I have a fire cube that I put the remote in with my blanket when I went to wash it.
Right.
I could save it. I took it apart. I tried my best, and yet that was not to be. That's what happens at a $8, replacement remote. I'm okay with that. But then I'm like, oh, I need a new one. And they're like February 4th. I'm like, so I just can't watch TV until February 4th? It's a little bit of a disaster. I tell you, the story goes on because then I was like, well, I'll use the app. But because the TV is hardwired to Ethernet, not on either one of my wireless extenders, I can't get to it. So I was like, no problem. I'll just connect to the wireless on the router. No, I forget all the passwords. So I go to my machine where I have a list of passwords and it says new router. I click on it, it's empty. So it's just been a disaster. All I want to do is finish watching Star Trek Discovery so that I can catch up to the new Star Trek Academy, which I can't watch because I forgot I never finished Discovery.
I have not gotten any. I mean, I love Star Trek, but I just have
Discovery's good, man.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know why I stopped watching it, to be honest with you. I really don't, but I did. So I'm just trying to catch up on that.
Man, when I was growing up back in middle school and high school, you remember all the books that used to come out with all the Star Trek stories?
So, yeah, I mean, having a review site previously, I'm well aware. And I kept none of them because
I have all of them. I have almost a complete set of those, and I just can't bring myself to let them go.
Yeah.
My kids are into it, so.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, so.
All right, folks, we're actually going to start this show with a correction. So, on our previous show, we talked about...
hold on a second. I just want to make sure, though, that I'm crystal clear here as Blake makes this apology. This is fully Blake.
Where we're going. Go ahead.
This is fully Blake's issue.
On the last show, one of us may have mentioned the ages for the Disney dining plan meals. So they have a kids eat free deal going on right now. And one of us may have mentioned that the ages for that was 12 and under. Well, eagle-eared listener Mary P. wrote in to set us straight. So,
not us, to set you straight.
Us. This is like the royal us, man.
To set you straight.
This is the royal us. So, kids eat free. So, first off, kids 0 to 2 have always eaten free no matter what. But for the Disney dining plan, kids are considered ages 3 through 9. And if they are 10 and up, they are considered adults. And in our show, we mentioned again that...
We.
I'm going to say we, man. We before me. We said that it was 12 and under, but it is actually 9 and under. So thank you, Mary P., for setting us straight.
Oh,
and
if
you as a listener hear anything that needs correcting, please do not hesitate to email us.
And we will make corrections, unlike some other podcasts. So no problem there.
We will. Email us at... Oh gosh, what is our email? I just blanked.
Rhubarb Travelers Podcast.
Rhubarb Travelers Podcast at gmail.com. So please email us with any questions.
Blake's off to a great start today, everybody.
We are off to a great start. All right, let's get into Disney news. So let's go over to Epcot, where they are having the Festival of the Arts. And right now, there are giant Lorcana cards and a collection quest that is going on there. So if you're not familiar, Lorcana is a trading card game that has been around for a year or two now at this point and has become very popular. It has been included in the Festival of the Arts. So if you go to Epcot, there will be a quest book that you can pick up on the bridge that is between Future World and World Showcase. And it's similar to the other adventures that you can do around the World Showcase, where you go to each land and you will collect certain stamps. And once you fill up your book, then you are able to get a limited edition Magical Places promo card. So, and then there's also giant life-sized Lorcana cards located throughout the park. And once you go to each of those and get the stamps from those, you will be able to get a second limited edition Magical Places promo card. Now, I know Jeremy from the group is really
I had asked to be taught how to play, but I guess he's just too busy these days.
So if you are into Lorcana and you are...
I wish I was, because this is cool. Listen, I like the fact that the cards are around. I just wish he had taught me to play. Just another...
Maybe that should be like a group outing that we have one day or something like that. Yeah, that was a that's not going to happen.
I mean, I don't know what we can get Blake to do. We'll have to see.
Blake, right. It's me. Okay. All right, moving on. Let's head over to Animal Kingdom. So permits have now been filed for the update to Conservation Station. So this says, it was announced a while back that this was going to be closing down and refurbished, and now Bluey is coming to Conservation Station, and official permits have been filed. This is for B. Morrow Productions. Now, they're not a usual Disney contractor. However, they've worked on activations, and I'm using my air quotes there, for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando Resort Hotels. So first off, my question to you, Damon, is you're more familiar with the Halloween Horror Nights than I am. When it says they've worked on activation.
I mean, I've never been. I've just been patiently following until both of my kids are out of school so I can go. So I have no idea. We need a listener to tell us.
Right.
This is going to be interesting. I mean, I like Bluey, and I think it makes sense to bring people to the conservation station. I think it's going to be pretty packed.
Well, so the question is, with Bluey being as big as it is, will this shift the center of the park to a new location? As opposed to right now, it's mostly over at Avatar. This is now going to be at a different part of the park. Will this help spread out the crowds? And I can't help but think it will. Just because of
I mean, the thing is, like, getting to Conservation Station isn't like walking over a bridge, right? So
correct.
It's I think for the first little bit, it's going to really push that sort of transportation area.
Yeah, you will not be able to spread out on the train to Conservation Station like you have been in the past.
Yeah, that I would say. I mean, I think it's still a good thing, and I think that, utilizing an area that you already have built, even though there is construction happening, I think it's a good idea.
Yep. All right. More construction permits have been filed for, this time, the Haunted Mansion over at Magic Kingdom, and construction scrims have gone up around the queue line area. Now, obviously, a lot of that is to hide all the construction work that is going on for Cars Land and Piston Peak, but this will also be related to the construction going on for the new Villains Land. So there are only rumors at this point about how Haunted Mansion is going to be related to Villains Land. But since most of that Villains Land is going to be between Cars Land and Haunted Mansion, you would have to imagine that a lot of those permits are going to be involved with the walkways and the connections between Frontierland and Villains Land.
Yeah, I mean, is Haunted Mansion really connected to Villains Land, though? Like, who's the villain in Haunted Mansion?
It could be the transition, if you think about it.
Yeah, I didn't love the way that was done with Star Tours either. I have this bad feeling it's going to be something along those lines. I hope it's not, though. I hope they make a smoother transition between them.
Right. Well,
sure.
now Star Tours is almost, I mean, I think of Star Tours now as the transition between regular Disney Hollywood Studios and Star Wars land. And if you
But
think about it,
that's what those tunnels were for,
right. But
really.
also, if you think about it, that's the whole story behind the ride of Star Tours, that it's taking you on a
Well, I
trip.
also think with the, the fact that they're going with two different time frames now, I think that also makes a lot more sense.
Right. Which we will be talking about here in just a minute. All right. So let's stay over in that area of the Magic Kingdom, and multiple Frontierland locations will be closing within Frontierland at Magic Kingdom. Now, before you get all up in arms, really this boils down to some of the standalone food carts and kiosks that are in Frontierland.
But who doesn't love Big Al's? Just to see it.
Yeah, it's nice, but those turkey legs are...
Forget about that. I just like to see the cart.
Yeah. So what's happening is, there's that boardwalk that goes along the rivers of America, the old rivers of America at this point. Well, they are going to be temporarily closing that as part of the construction for Cars Land. And because they are closing that walk path, they now have to create some new temporary walk paths for that area of the park, especially because of the parades that are coming through and the fireworks that go on during the day. And the only place to put that are where those food kiosks are. So those kiosks will be going away. We don't know if it's going to be a permanent closure or temporary, but if you want a turkey leg or some popcorn from Frontierland, you should get on over and get it before they temporarily close down. All right. Let's go on to some more refurbishments. So Disneyland and Walt Disney World add line rules for attraction queue re-entry. So this is designed for when certain members of your party need to leave the line. And we've all been in that situation where we've been waiting in line and someone needs to leave for whatever reason and they need to get back.
We've never been in that situation.
Really? Not
Nope.
even in one of the really long lines?
No.
Oh, wow. You're lucky. So essentially, this is also in relation to the DAS changes, the Disability Assisted Services changes that have recently...
Oh, see, now, hold on. Now I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe we have once or twice when the kids were younger. I'm starting to remember. So, all right, I take that back.
So it's partially related to the DAS service changes that were recently implemented. And so... But unfortunately, what happened was when Disney changed it, they didn't give out the clearest of rules regarding this. So now for attraction queue reentry, what you will essentially be asked to do is to go speak to the cast member at the front of the line to find out what the rules are. Apparently, the rules are different for each ride, which doesn't seem all that helpful. But go to the cast member at the front of the line to find out what the rules are. And the best place to reenter. And then when your person comes back, they need to go back and talk to that cast member or whatever cast member is there at the time. And that cast member will assist you in getting back in the line.
Yeah, I think the rules for each ride just means kind of where you're reentering, to be honest.
Exactly. Where you reentering. And of course, if you've been watching the news, there have been some reports recently of, what do we call this? Conflicts occurring when people are trying to get back in the line. I
don't understand. Like, forget about everything else. Just straight up line cutters, right?
Right.
I just never understood the fact that people will say, "Oh, well, feel like you should feel lucky that you're at Disney. Don't let that bother you. Like, just let them go." And no, that's not how this works. If everyone did that, then you'd be waiting in line so much longer. I can't get with the people that just want to blow it off and just say whatever. And then, I have an extra half an hour in line because of that. No, right. Thank you.
And I think what we're talking about here is when you have one or two people holding a spot for 15 others.
Or have nobody and just straight up cut.
Right.
Like, and then there's issues. Like, I think.
Have you ever experienced that where people
many times.
Really?
Like tons of times. I don't see how Disney doesn't have a better way to handle that. because it is really frustrating. And again, I will not be on board with the people that say do nothing is fine, because then if that was the case, we'd all, have extra time in line. And I don't think that's fair either. I just think there should be a better way to handle that in general.
Right.
I wish that we had this mandatory magic band situation, right? I felt like magic bands were going down such a great path, and then, boom, we're onto phones. But if you think about it, if you had magic bands, we could handle so many things differently. There could be this little click that happens at the beginning of the line, right? So you can't just cut in randomly. You actually have to go, from the front of the line, right? Which would help. And there'd be special points that it said, oh, you know what? You move really fast through this line. Maybe there's a problem. I just feel like we could have done so much more with magic bands.
In other words, like a check-in point to
Yeah. When they used to do that thing, with your Easy Pass, how could you have gotten from here to here without speeding?
Yeah.
Even though they didn't do anything, I feel like it would be the same sort of thing. There's no way you could have gotten from here to here unless you cut in line. So I don't know.
So if you were
I'm a rule follower, I'm a big rule follower.
Mm-hmm. If you are headed to the parks and you need to leave the line, just make sure you are checking with your cast members.
Yeah, and this has nothing to do for me with Daz or anything like that. This is just straight up line cutters that I have an issue with.
All right. The next part of this show is going to be called the Star Wars segment of the show, because there is a lot of Star Wars going on at the parks right now. So first off, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is receiving some major updates regarding the story timelines relating to the lands. So right now, it is all related to the sequel trilogies, with Rey and Poe and BB-8 and that era of the story. Well, now Disney is going to roll back that timeline to include characters and storylines from The Empire Strikes Back, from Return of the Jedi, from The Mandalorian, from Ahsoka. They are going to be expanding the timelines quite a bit. Now, what's going to happen is they are going to be segmenting out these different timelines into certain areas of the land. So, for example, Darth Vader is going to be roaming around with stormtroopers looking for Luke in one area. Leia will be in her combat costume. So think, Empire Strikes Back on Hoth in her costume there, and Endor there. They're going to be near the Millennium Falcon. Also, Han Solo is going to be near the Millennium Falcon and also kind of looking around Oga's Cantina. Mandalorian, Grogu, and Ahsoka are going to be in the marketplace area. And then Rey and all of her group will be near the Resistance camp. And of course, Rise of the Resistance ride. So they are expanding the timelines here. Damon, what are your thoughts?
I think that's great. I think it should have been done a long time ago. I'm super happy with this.
Yes. In addition, I think in bigger news, more John Williams music from the trilogies will now be added to the background music. So
that's a bonus.
That is a very big bonus. Previously, it was all just ambient, environmental sounds, but now they're going to be adding in the actual music from John Williams scores. And then in addition to that, the stores in the area are going to be updated to include Rebel merchandise, to include Imperial merchandise, along with the First Order only merchandise that used to be there. So, Galaxy's Edge is going to be getting a major update here. And it's going to start with Disneyland, right? And then we'll move into Disney World.
Yeah, this is just straight up good news. I think it's smart.
Yes. Along those lines, Oga's Cantina is going to be closing for a short refurbishment. Again, that's going to start in Disneyland, but we can assume it will come to Disney World eventually. But the one at Disneyland has already shut down. It shut down on January 20th, and it will be closed until early March of this year. And so with such a short refurbishment, this is not going to be anything major, just probably...
The most major thing is the Cantina band song.
Right.
That's major.
Yes. So John Williams, going back to John Williams, the master, his Cantina band song will be added to the rotation of the soundtrack for the lounge. So now you will be able to go in and hear that, which is, let's be honest, we all wanted to hear that.
Absolutely.
To Oga's Cantina. So,
I mean, if they added the band itself, I mean, oof.
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, gosh, they could carve out a little place for that.
Yeah.
People would stand in line just to have a picture for that, I think. All right, last little bit of Star Wars news. And this is kind of big. Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down as chief at Lucasfilm. She has been there quite a long time. She's been the leader for 10 years, but she has been with Lucasfilm since the original Star Wars, A New Hope, way back in the 70s. So she is stepping down after a very long tenure. Replacing her will be Dave Filoni and Lin-Wen Brennan. Now, you should recognize Dave Filoni's name. He, of course, was in charge of the excellent Clone Wars series animation, and then also the Mandalorian TV show, the Ahsoka TV show. He is, I think, the fan favorite to take over Star Wars. Lin-Wen Brennan is the current president and GM of Lucasfilm. So I'm assuming this is going to be almost like a Michael Eisner and the other gentleman's name who's escaping me right now.
I don't know. None of this stuff interests me. Like, I don't care who it is. You can have a good show, a bad show. It could come from anybody.
Right. But I will say that Dave Filoni is kind of known. Filoni, did I say that right? Yes. Dave Filoni is known as, I don't want to say a purist, but he is really into the lore of Star Wars, and he's into keeping the canon straight and fleshing out all those characters. I think you're going to see a little bit of a resurgence in storytelling from Star Wars, especially with this new Starfighter, Rebel Starfighter show that's going to be coming out soon.
Give me a good show and then I'll be interested. That's like I said, for me, give me a good show.
All right. Okay, folks, before we continue on with the news, we are going to take a short break here to listen to a word from our sponsor. Folks, are you looking for help planning your next vacation? Then look no further than our sponsor, Don'tResistTheTravel.com. Don'tResistTheTravel.com is there to help you regardless of what type of travel you're looking for. Want a family getaway to Walt Disney World or Universal Orlando? They've got you covered. They can plan your entire trip to ensure your days are filled with excitement and that you don't wander around going, what should we do next? It's already planned for you. What about if you're wanting a romantic getaway with that special someone? They've got you covered. Personalized travel that blends glamour and comfort with dining and spa treatment reservations and anything else designed to provide a pampered, luxurious trip. Wanting to get on a boat and take a cruise? They've got you covered. As partners with Disney Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean, they can handle every aspect of the process down to room selection and suggesting the best excursions to take so you get the most from port to port. So don't wait. Head on over to Don'tResistTheTravel.com and get the folks there to start helping you create that unforgettable vacation. And don't forget to let them know the guys at Rhubarb Travelers Podcast sent you. That's Don'tResistTheTravel.com. And we're back with more news. Let's head on over to Disney Springs. A couple of shows ago, we talked about that a storefront near Gideon's Bakehouse closed down, and there was rumors that Gideon's would be expanding into that spot. Well, now it is official. So there is going to be a new restaurant coming called the Six Ravens. It's owned by the same gentleman that owns Gideon's Bakehouse, but instead of being sweets and cookies, it is now going to be a fast casual location for savory recipes instead of sweets. Think of your traditional hand pies that have fillings in them. So we're going to have that type of food with potatoes and local draft beer. I think what they're trying to do is round out the menus where instead of only having something sweet, you will now be able to enjoy something from a Gideon's restaurant for more hearty food, shall we say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, but I mean, I think it makes sense to have savory food as well from a place that everyone seems to really want to go to, right? Like anything that you can do to get more people is a benefit for sure.
Right. And as a side benefit of that, we are hoping that it will cut down the line at the original Gideon's, and now we'll be able to split those people out a little bit.
I don't know if that will be the case. I mean, people that want cookies, but yeah, I mean, it's a good thing regardless.
Right. All right. Also at Disney Springs. So Disney Springs has been honestly losing multiple retailers recently. And it's not anything to do with Disney. This is more along the lines of there's a national retail shutdown going on across many sectors. So, for instance, Francesca's, which was a boutique novelty store, there was a nationwide shutdown for that, and they are just liquidating everything. Sanuk, which is a popular footwear, that closed down without notice. Here's an interesting one, Sosa Family Cigars. Now, I'm not too big into cigars, but this was one of the longest-running independent businesses at Disney Springs, and this was dating back all the way to the Pleasure Island days. So they have been there quite a while. They are shutting down as well, along with Sprinkles Cupcakes, which was a nationwide.
I don't think anyone's surprised at that one, though.
Yeah. So this is all just to show that, Disney is not completely immune to outside economic forces when it comes to.
It does, though. The problem that we have here is like Disney Springs is not a mall. At the end of the day, it's still an experience from Disney. Having stores shut down, I mean, they better replace them quick, because the worst thing for Disney Springs would be is to have,
empty
unopened.
store.
Yeah. Like, I think that's a big thing. Like, you have to have stores there. It's not a mall. This is part of the Disney experience in the Disney bubble. It's the start of the Disney bubble.
Exactly.
So hopefully they can get some things in there.
Because what you don't want it to turn into is just another outlet store mall.
Exactly.
Where you have rotating companies that come in and out all the time. So, All right, last little bit of Disney news here. Disney is expected to name a Bob Iger successor coming up here within the month. So this is being reported by the LA Times that in February, Disney is expected to name the successors. So the front runners right now are Josh D'Amaro, Dana Walden, Alan Bergman, and Jimmy Pitaro. And I would think that right now my money is on D'Amaro. Damon, what's your feeling?
Again, this is stuff I don't care about. Like, it doesn't matter to me at all in the least bit.
Really?
Nope.
So, see, I would think, to me, D'Amaro is the clear candidate because he has his thumb on the pulse of the parks. And let's be honest, the parks is where it's at for Disney right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, entertainment-wise, I mean, the parks are what brought us everything, right? At the end of the day.
Right.
And continue to kind of push that forward. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care, though.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't really matter.
All right. Then we're going to have one little bit of Disney Cruise Line news. So there are now free roaming droids making their debut on Disney Cruise Lines. And there are videos out there, if you go look on Facebook, showing these little small droids. And when I say small, they're about the size of a 3 or 4-year-old, right? They are roaming around the Hyperspace Lounge on one of the Disney cruise boats, and I can't remember which one has the Hyperspace Lounge. It's also at the Cargo Bay, which is the kids club. So, and these are only in the Disney Cruise Lines, and they're only in the Hyperspace Lounge and Cargo Bay to keep the storyline consistent. So if you haven't seen it, go look it up. It is really neat.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. And I think based on this, right, you're on a cruise, you can't really pick one up and run away. Where you going, right? Like, there's a lot more, you know who the people are because it's a lot easier. There's less people than at the park. I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of start here and see what we have after that.
Right.
I mean, I think
Like
it's
a test
exciting
run.
though.
It's a pilot run.
Yeah, exactly.
And the videos show that, there's always that cast member tender, right, that always walks alongside any type of thing like that. But they are allowing people to pet. There was clear video of people petting these droids on the head and actually being able to lightly touch them, along the line, what Damon was saying, you're not going to be able to, push it around or pick it up or anything, but you are going to be able to touch these.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, being on a ship, you have like this responsibility because you know that you can't really go anywhere, and I think that's good.
Yeah. All right, folks, that is it for Disney news, which means it is time for the after show. All right, here is the after show. Let's go over to SeaWorld. I actually don't think, have we done a SeaWorld?
I don't know if we've done a SeaWorld. I keep on seeing the SeaWorld in, where is that, Abu Dhabi?
Yes.
And it just looks so cool, right? Yeah. It really does. So I would say, though, that, so we have our 2026 Seven Seas Food Festival concert lineup has been announced. It runs January through May. And here's the thing, like, this is probably one of the best lineups I've seen. SeaWorld has done like something where, like, hey, we have Flow Rider, but also Jefferson Starship. But gosh, we also have Smash Mouth and the Beach. Like, we have the Beach Boy, Soldier Boy, and Boyz II Men. I think you've hit on a lot of different generations and a lot of different musical tastes. I think overall, like, I like it. I like it a lot.
And the groups that Damon just named are literally just a fraction of the number of groups that are coming. I'm looking over the entire list right now, and there's at least 25 names on here. So you are going to get a huge variety of musical acts coming through.
And I think that's what I like about this more than anything is, I mean, you have Bow Wow, like,
right.
Yeah, like the Yin Yang Twins. Wait, is that Paul Wall?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Tiffany is coming back.
Paul Wall with my grills. Like, again, I like the fact that this is, what did somebody say? It's a better lineup than Rolling Loud. Yeah, like, this is just a great lineup. I don't think anyone's ever had such a lineup for a food festival in Orlando.
Oh, and Warrant. I just saw that name, Warrant. Man, we're getting some metal in there. Oh,
that's what I'm saying. I like that it's, this whole eclectic bunch of people, right? Like, you will definitely find something that you like. That's for sure.
Yeah. So if you are interested, it is running again January through May of this year down at SeaWorld in Orlando. So, man, and it's part of their Seven Seas Food Festival is the actual festival, but it's the concert lineups for that. So if you're interested, look it up on SeaWorld.
Yep.
All right, let's head on over to Universal. Specifically, let's go to Universal Hollywood. So
these Fan Fest nights in Hollywood always make me very upset. We had the Dungeons and Dragons one, which looked awesome. Like, they just have so many good ones over there.
So they are having a Fan Fest nights over in Hollywood. These are only 12 select nights. So it's not every night, but it's happening between April 23 and May 16. These are after hours, and they're a hard ticketed event. So think of this like Mickey's Very Merry Halloween Party, where you have to have a separate ticket. So you will have to have a separate ticket for this. It will start at 7:30 p.m. on those select nights, and there will be different experiences throughout the parks for this event. So, for instance, you will have Scooby-Doo versus the Universal Monsters, where
you could probably just end right there. Like,
I know,
is there anything better than that?
Man, so you're going to be helping Scooby and the gang solve a case that involves the Universal Monsters when the Universal Studios backlot is taken over by them. So, gosh, that just seems so neat to be able to help.
It does.
As part of that. If you are big into anime, there is going to be a One Piece.
This is so hard because, like, I want to love One Piece and I just don't.
Right.
It's hard, but this is another good one here.
Right. It's going to be a water stunt show to keep in line with the pirate theming of that anime. If you are big into Harry Potter, they are going to have a hippogriff search in the Forbidden Forest over at Harry Potter Land, where you will be encountering challenges and having to do spell casting to go find the missing hippogriff. There is going to be a Dungeons and Dragons section and attraction.
Yeah.
They are just getting all the good stuff over there in Hollywood. So, and also there's going to be select rides available during the event.
Like, who even cares what rides
exactly.
are available?
I was going to say, if you go to these things to do the rides, you're going for the wrong reason, folks. You gotta go do all the events and all of the attractions that are part of this. So, ticket prices for this event are going to range from, I got to be honest,
I don't even think that's bad, right? Yeah, like, that's pretty good.
A very reasonable $74 for the cheapest and only $84 for the most expensive.
I mean, you still have the option to do Express and Express Unlimited as an add-on, which I think I would do.
I would do that if that helped you out with all of the extra event things.
Oh, yeah, I think it does. It would just be like one of the express passes you'd have at Horror Nights, right, which gets you into the front of the line. Yeah, like, this is depressing. I wish they would do something similar in Orlando, to be honest with you, but
I think it's just a matter of time, though.
I don't know.
What do they do in Orlando during the same time period from April 23rd to May?
Oh gosh, I have no idea. Not either. This though.
Because Mardi Gras is done by that point, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, like, I'm just not as dialed into their extra stuff there at Universal yet.
All right, we're actually going to go to Universal Orlando now. And so the officially announced Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift is coming to replace the Rip Ride Rockit that has recently been torn down. It will open in 2027. And as part of this ride, the vehicles, the ride mechanism, they're going to be drifting 360 degrees. And there's going to be a massive 170-foot vertical spike as part of the ride. So in conjunction with this, the current Fast and Furious attraction at Universal Orlando, which is called Fast and Furious Supercharged.
If it's even an attraction.
Right. Will be closing in 2027. And I have to be honest, I've been to Universal Orlando 3 times and I've never gone into that. Is it a show or is it a ride?
No,
I don't even know.
It's a ride, and it's kind of like, what's the other one that's there where you go onto the talk show? Or Kong. It's a bunch of screens is what it is. Even though you're on this, but it's so bad that it's not even worth doing. Now, if they flipped it over to a Back to the Future ride, right? We need a Back to the Future ride. Like, please put one somewhere. Here is perfect. Yeah.
So it will be opening in 2027. No specific dates yet, but just be on the lookout for that. Also, and
this is huge, by the way.
Yeah, this is rumors at this point, folks. Nothing has been confirmed. So, Universal Destinations and Experiences, which they should be the controlling group of the parks, and the Pokémon Company are expanding their current relationship, and they are partnering to create, and here are quotes here, immersive, hyper-realistic Pokemon attractions. And they are going to debut at Universal Studios Japan and then expand globally. Now, that's exciting in its own standpoint. However, the rumor is when they say expand globally, the rumor now is that there will be a new dedicated Pokemon land to replace the Lost Continent area at Universal Orlando.
And I don't think people in the US, I mean, I'm sure some of, you do, but I mean, Pokemon is huge. And I don't think huge is even the right word. Like, it's all encompassing. Like, when just the new Lego Pokemon came out, like, they were gone, and they're like a huge deal to get Lego Pokemon. Like, I think that if Universal gets some good Pokemon rides or does have a Pokemon land, it is going to be a problem for Disney. Like, that's something that, you have Nintendo Harry Potter and Pokemon. Like, I'm sorry, but like that is probably going to be bigger than anything that Disney can put together.
It will certainly pull people away for a period of time. I would.
Yeah. I mean,
especially if they could. Did you ever do Pokemon Go?
Yeah. If they could include something like that throughout the parks. If they
included something like that, like along the lines of the Kim Possible, Epcot, if they did something like that at Universal, wow, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I really think that, even if you said that no one was ahead and it was just even ground between Disney and Universal, like that's a problem for Disney. You know what I mean? Like,
they don't, because they don't have a comparable. What's the word?
I mean, Disney and Star Wars in general are fairly comparable, but like that's why like we talk about the Star Wars shows and the new Star Wars fans being such a huge deal, right? Like when you have Pokemon, you're across the board, right? Because you have young kids and you have adults. Star Wars needs to be that for them. I don't know. This would be such a big deal. It really would.
And they've got quite a bit of land to work with there with that Lost Continent area. So it will be interesting to see what could be coming, because again, this is just a rumor. So
yep.
We will be able to look at Universal Japan to get an idea of what could happen. All right, folks, that is going to do it for this week's episode. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Don'tResistTheTravel.com. Please go visit them so that they can help you plan that trip to Universal Japan to go experience the new Pokemon land. They can also do Disney trips, they can do cruises, they can do just about any type of travel that you are interested in. So head on over to Don'tResistTheTravel.com and let them help you out with all of those details. Don't forget to go subscribe to us on your favorite podcast streaming service, and make sure that at the very minimum, you go to Apple Podcasts and you go to Spotify and you follow us on there and you leave a 5-star rating. I know I say this every time, but that is the single best way to help this show expand. It helps the algorithms get our show in front of other people who are just doing random searches. So please head on over to those, give us 5-star ratings, leave a review. It will help us out quite a bit. If you have questions, if you have trip reports, if you have corrections on things that one of us might say, please send an email to rhubarbtravelerspodcast@gmail.com, and we will make sure to include that. We have a Patreon, so head on over to patreon.com.
I mean, Blake could have just given you his personal email, because you're not going to have to send me anything there.
Right, whatever. Head on over to patreon.com, search for Rhubarb Travelers. Please consider becoming a Patreon subscriber for just $5 a month. You will get early access to our show notes and a soon to be determined extra freebie, which Damon and I still are going to do. We promise. Pinky promise on that. Head on over to socials. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We do TikTok videos. So make sure you look up Rhubarb Travelers Podcast on all of those. We will be there. So until next time, Damon, I will talk to you then.
See ya, everybody.
Folks, the Rhubarb Travelers podcast is for entertainment purposes only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company or NBC Universal, the parent company of Universal Studios. And as such, all opinions expressed on the show are exclusively our own. Please consult a DVC or Disney cast member or Universal team member for more information about anything we might have talked about today.